Supernatural, and you're going to hear it in two phases here. First, we'll start off with supernatural voicing transformation. And what it is basically is it's a collection of what Marco has titled supernatural voices that will elevate your playing to a whole new level of authenticity and realism, providing you with a wide range of realistic sounds across almost every category of musical instrument. Every sound has been carefully sculpted with precision and artistry by a musical genius, capturing the authentic, lifelike essence of the instrument. Now, anyone can guess who the musical genius is? Marco Mendez, right? And what he's done is Marco has created, as you can see, 12 categories of musical instruments, saxophones to woodwinds to pianos to strings, guitars, bells, you name it. Each category has 11 basically sounds of that category that when you use will make you sound as authentic as the lifelike musician if he was playing sitting right next to you. Now, we're not going to play all 132 today, so Marco had to pick and choose some of his favorites, but every time he had a new favorite, he says, well, wait, maybe I need to do that one. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. So finally, we just, I think, flipped a coin and said, this is what you're going to have to play, Marco. Yeah. But we have some amazing sounds. So I think we'll start off with hearing some of these. We'll start off with the Bosendorfer. Do you have something to say about the Bosendorfer?
The Bosendorfer is an instrument made in Austria, in Vienna area. And Yamaha now owns the name, they have owned it for a while. And there's really two pianos available in this world as far as expensive and the best that you can get your hands on. That would be the Bosendorfer, which is a European product, and then the Steinway, which is made in New York. So when I started right away, I wanted to make it. The Lowrey organ has a great piano, but nothing compared to what you're about to hear. So this is hours and hours and hours of me manipulating the sound and creating a brand new Bosendorfer style sound for you to play. So I'm gonna play it by myself, and then I'll add a rhythm, and I'll play it with the rhythm like you would play it. So here's the sound of the wonderful $150,000 Bosendorfer piano. Here we go. That's amazing. Oh my God.
Woo, that's awesome. Boy, that's one great piano, but wait, there's more.
So if you take that piano now and come back to the United States or here in North America, a company in New York that's been around for a long time makes one of the greatest classical pianos in the world. It's called the Steinway. So this one you'll notice a little bit brighter than the Bosendorfer. That's typical from the American manufacturing facility in New York. And I'm going to play a little bit of Ice Castles. I'll start with just showing you the piano by itself, and then I'll play how you would play it. So here's the Steinway grand piano from New York. Great. So moving right along, I thought the Lowrey organ was lacking of different types of sound that are essential for music making. Basically, I modernized any Lowrey E-Series organ. This particular sound is used by Stevie Wonder, and he made millions of dollars playing a Fender Rhodes and a clavinet. And there isn't anything built into this product that you can get access to that. So I did a version of that. It sounds like Stevie Wonder, so I'll play first the sound, me doing it, and then we'll play it with a rhythm style. So here's the Fender Rhodes piano, that a masterpiece in contemporary music in today's world. Here we go. Great. This one has a big heart internally for me. Back in 1984, Yamaha Corporation decided to launch a new image in music, and it simply was called the DX7 technology. It had 16 presets, although the user could design it and maneuver whatever way you wanted, but it became almost impossible to operate. And they had a budget of 20,000 units to sell in 1984. At the end of the day, they sold over 200,000 units, just a little bit over $1 billion in sales. And it became an iconic sound. Things like Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Billy Joel, obviously, the Doobie Brothers, Kenny Rogers, everybody in the planet became a user of this product. And first, I'll show you the way that it was mostly presented by The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston. And this was the original intro as she recorded it on the recording. Here we go. Wonderful. So let's get away from the pianos and visit the string areas of the product. On the string areas, I couldn't think of none other than Yo-Yo Ma. Yo-Yo Ma is the greatest cello player in 20th century history in the world. And this was a real challenge because I had to watch a lot of videos of when he starts the tremolo, depending on the song he's playing. And then I'd have to determine how much the tremolo speed would be, the delay when he actually uses the bow and then decides to add that to it. And these are literally hundreds of hours of me listening to his cello. And we're going to feature a song called Sunrise Sunset from Fiddler on the Roof. Listen to this cello. Amazing. Next to that brings us to one of the most expensive instruments in the world called the Stradivarius. They start, these expensive Stradivarius you can buy today, it's over $1 million, and it can go to 2, 3, 4, 5, even $10 million. What's so unique? The way they made it, the wood they use, the process of making it. So this was a real challenge, and you'll hear this in the Fiddler on the Roof. They played on the Fiddler on the Roof original music, and they use a Stradivarius. So I'm gonna play it by myself, and then we'll add it with the rhythm style. So here, If I Were a Rich Man. Great. This is used a lot in classical music, and it's called a string quartet. A lot of Mozart music was written like this. So this is a violin, 2 violas, and a cello, as you see in the picture. It's a very unique, very clean sound, and they do things like Mozart. So I'll do a little Mozart concerto, and then we'll add a style to see what it would sound when you play it with one finger. So here's Mozart's C major concerto. kind of makes me depressed that you can sound better than me by doing one finger. This one, they're all my favorite. This one is the greatest guitar player of all time by the name of Andres Segovia from Spain. And this was a big upgrade for the Lowrey product. The guitars are great, but nothing like this. This is an acoustic guitar worth a lot of money, the sound-wise. And I'm gonna play the song Malagueña, and then we'll do it with one finger style. So here's beautiful, classical flamenco guitar. Wow. This, I have a lot of training in. I have actually a master's degree in organ performance and choir conducting as well. So this is simply called SATB, soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. And we'll feature a song called Oh Holy Night. So let's tune the basses and the tenors and the altos and the soprano. Let's tune them first. And lastly, was my favorite soprano of all time. Her name is Sarah Brightman, and she was in charge of performing in New York City, originally the Phantom of the Opera, a song called Music of the Night. And this, again, hours and hours listening to, depending on the range where she's at, it changes the vibrato. So here's Sarah Brightman from the Phantom of the Opera. So moving right along, let's go to the saxophones, the Woodwinds area. This was a really fun one to do. The greatest song that was ever written for the tenor saxophone is a song called Careless Whisper. And that intro, everybody that's working on learning how to play the saxophone has to learn that song. George Michael was the one that sang it, but that introduction, wait till you hear this, sounds exactly like the way it should. So let me play it just me, and then we'll add a rhythm to it. So here we go. Great. This is another challenge. This is a song written. Now, he didn't write it, but he made it super popular. His name was Zamfir, and it's famous for the pan flute, and the name of the song is called The Lonely Shepherd. So here's The Lonely Shepherd played by me, and then we'll add a rhythm to see what you would sound like. Here we go. This didn't even exist on a Lowrey organ. This was the greatest accordion ever created, called the Casotto. And this doesn't even exist on the Lowrey product. So I had to create this to play songs like Twilight Time. It's perfect for that. So here's the Casotto from Italy. Every year during the Christmas time, I see the people, with the bell in front of Walmart asking for cash so we can get kids things, Salvation Army. So this was inspirational last year for me. And I heard the band playing and said, oh my God, I have to do this. I'm sorry, Robert, I screwed up. So just real quick to the Army Band. And the name of the song that I heard at that time was called Joy to the World. So here's me playing, and then we'll add a style to it. So here's the Salvation Army Band. Going back when I used to visit the Jamaica or the Virgin Islands, I always as soon as I got there, I got myself a nice pina colada, and then I would go back near the beach, and they always had a band, and the band always played the steel drums. And this is a great song from Disney called The Little Mermaid, Under the Sea. Listen to this steel drum band. And then go back to the Woodwinds again. This was one of the hardest sound to produce, was the sound of the English horn. And this is perfect to play the song Memory from Cats. So we start with a nice piano on my left hand, and then I'll pull out a rhythm to see what you would sound like. So here's me playing Cats full play. So you can take it from here, Robert, the next segment.
Yeah,
is
this
Reinvented.
these sounds are absolutely awesome.
They
now,
really are.
Now, if you know Marco, he's a little bit of a workaholic, and the term he uses, it's a love, what is it, labor of love?
It is a labor of love.
Yeah, that's a, and that, you know, and if you think about it, that holds true with all of us here at Fletcher Music Centers. When you think about Don and Carrie and Joni and myself, everybody that works with us, we all You know, a lot of people say, when do you take time off? Well, we don't take time off because we love what we do.
Right.
Even when I go home at 9 o'clock at night, I'm getting text messages from Marco. Hey, check out what are you going? There's that damn thumb again. Stay still. Maybe it's saying, Marco, don't text me after 9. No. Wait till you hear this. I got something else. Well, there's more to the story. So on top of creating all of the instruments that he wanted to accomplish, and you just got a small little taste of it, one really big goal he wanted to do was take all of those sounds and incorporate them into styles, music styles. Now, you guys we got tons of great styles on here already. But what he wanted to do was take and that's the beauty of having the marquee and the grand marquee and what have you. He wanted to take what was already great, and having this platform really allowed him to take this to the next level. And what he wanted to accomplish, and after we talked for a while, I said, well, what are you really doing, Marco? Because he didn't know what to call this. And he said, well, I'm taking a style, and I'm going in, and the term Frankenstein came up. He said, and the sounds, I'm really tweaking and changing and altering all of the special effects till it becomes exactly the way I want it to sound. And with the styles...
Don't forget to let him know that I'm tweaking the style itself. It's not, the right hand is going to be great. I'm going to put that in there, but the style itself, I go internally and change all the orchestration instruments. So that was a very time-consuming. You'll hear in a minute. Go ahead.
Well,
sorry.
yeah, and it's not just changing the style. So what he did is he chose some wonderful styles, and he went in and he basically. And when I asked him, I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, it's kind of like I'm reinventing it." I said, "Well, that's what you call it. You reinvent the style to give you a whole nother style, and you don't lose the style you have. So you reinvent it and come up with something totally different." Now, I'll admit, there's going to be one or two here that I'll refer to. And I asked him, I said, "So for this new style that you reinvented, what was the original style?" And he told me, and there was a few that actually had my head scratching. And in short, what I took his words, and I said, "Marco, tell me what you did." And then I typed it in and what have you, and the end result was, this is essentially what he did. He created 14 newly reimagined styles. We call them music styles reinvented. Each accompanied by an easy play music. Immerse yourself in the musical artistry, intricate details of these newly redesigned styles crafted to work seamlessly with hundreds upon hundreds of songs, all using his new supernatural voicings and sound transformations. And there again is the description. And then here are 14 reimagined styles. And we took a classic play on words to come up with signature styles. Bellissima Latin, Satin Summertime, 007 Orchestra, Insensitive. So you can kind of see a theme here, what the song titles are. And to demonstrate a few of these, we'll start off with one here called Arabian Nights. And I have to tell you, when he told me the original style that he used, I thought, there's no way possible that's going to work. Has he lost it? Has he been sitting at the organ for 15 hours a day too long? And the style, is called Arabian Symphony.
Right.
For the song Arabian Nights. And before I turn your camera, here's the book, and I'll screen share it in a minute. So it has all of the information that he's talking about, and it has this music, easy play music for that. The style that you started with was called Vagabond Polka.
Correct.
And when he told me that, I said, let me call you back in a few minutes. I got to take this call. I actually lied. What I did is I went over to the organ and I put Vagabond Polka and I listened to it and I went,
go ahead, do it so they hear it.
That's not Arabian. Let me see. Song,
Vagabond
style,
polka.
suite, go to V. Vagabond V, right? Vagabond polka,
Yeah,
and
and
I'll
then
hit
just
a
do rhythm preset, whatever, and then hit a
rhythm
C
preset
chord.
1 intro. Okay, here we
C.
go.
Yeah.
I said, that doesn't sound like Arabian Nights. And he went in and he got into the screen and he did some work and he tweaked this and he went in the background and did this and that. He told me he had fumes going on in his house. And what you came up with was, let's see if I get the right camera here.
Yeah, here we
This.
go. Ready? Here we go. Yay! That's good. So then I follow what Robert says. I spend the time to get to know every style on the product, and then I decided to go and start reinventing them. This one is a Willie Nelson called Crazy. Is the name of the style, but I renamed it, I revoiced it, and I now call it Love Story Pianist. So you can play the song or any ballad. Love Story, because that's what I called it, but any ballad, and it's not going to be the song Crazy. Listen to this beautiful arrangement of Love Story Pianist or any ballad pianist. Here we go. Great. This next one, I wanted to make a new style to play big band music that's slow, and I called it soul and jazz. Beautiful. Listen to this. I've always been a fan of James Bond. This was a surprise how I was able to do this. You can play anything, but the style that I use is called Born Free. Well, how did you do that? Chinese magic secret, can't tell you. So here we go. Called the 007 Orchestra. And then I love Latin music, so I'm sick and tired of the same rhythm styles that always exist. So I created a new bossa nova, and it's called the wave bossa. Here we go. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually using the music from the book. This last example is to play the theme from The Godfather. So we got the music in here for you. You just need to open it up and play that. So let me find it real quick. This style is called, Robert?
The style is called, what does it say in the book? Probably Godfather.
I think Godfather is something.
Godfather theme.
Godfather theme.
That's it. We kept
All
it
right.
simple.
So open up the music for The Godfather.
Actually, in parentheses, is sound better than Marco with the Godfather theme. But
Yeah, here we go.
that's awesome. Now, so folks, one thing that happened when Mark was working on this project, you know, basically he did all the work. I did all of the, hey, why don't you do this? Why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? So originally this book here, this is a copy of the book that we have. I don't know if you could see it on the screen. It's real tiny. It says Supernatural Transformation 7. After he finally got done and he had a book, I kept going back saying, hey, can you do this, do that? And we'd have to change the book. So we got to number 6, and the day before we presented it in Arizona, the night before, we came up with something else, and it became number 7.
Variation
Well,
7. Yeah.
but then there was more to that. So this book has a lot of the information that you saw and heard here today, and you'll see it tells you all the categories of the supernatural. And then when you load it, it's pretty simple. It says supernatural saxes, supernatural woods. And the beauty of the presets that Marco designed is he put them in 2 groups per category. In other words, if you load the supernatural piano, he made it so that to get the most ideal, authentic way of hearing those beautiful pianos, some of the presets have a touch feature that doesn't require a lot of pressure to play. But if there's someone who says, I don't, you know, I'd rather play without the touch, the group B has those same presets without the touch. So he designed it so that it would accommodate anyone. And that's what happens. You load it in. Now here, when you put it up when you load it into the screen, it'll show you the name of the category that you loaded and what each one, as you can see, how they're labeled, and the preset. So very easy to use. The best part is it's very easy to use, and then you sound great. All right, now we go further in the book, and then it again explains a little bit about the reinvented styles. And the idea here is that when you load Basement Latin, you get 11 additional setups for every one of those, incorporating all of those supernatural sounds. And so I said to Marco, I said, well, that's great. I love those sounds. It was a very popular question I had. Every time he did something, I said, can you do this, Marco? Can you do this? And so the night before, all of these styles that were designed for all of these songs, as you can see, they're all in easy play. I said, those are great. Those sound awesome. I said, but is it possible the night before, this was the night before the show, I mind you. Yeah. I said, can you go back and re-record all of those? Can you go back and you put all those 10 presets? I did all this last minute stuff, and he'd answer it with the word sure, but he'd have the look on his face that looked like this. Sure. Like, what he was saying was sure, but what he was saying is, are you kidding me?
Exactly.
And then at midnight, I'd get a text. It's all done. And so what he did is he recorded every one of those songs using those sounds so you can kind of hear that. But Marco left Arizona, went back home on a Friday. Saturday afternoon, he called me and he says, I got to put more into this. and he did, and it's pretty nice, actually. And it's a term that's commonly used in a lot of aspects. In movies, they sometimes will have like a famous actor. Like in the Star Wars movies, Star Wars fans, for example, are very. I'm a Star Wars fan. We're sometimes called nerds and what have you, because we like to look for all little things. And sometimes I'll watch a movie and then we'll see like a famous actor in a scene in the background. The actor gets no credits, no nothing, but they put it back there, and they call that like an Easter egg. Like sometimes you find something that most people wouldn't catch unless you see it, and then a lot of people go back and watch. Oh yeah, or they'll see something. So it's a very famous terminology that he uses, and so Marco wanted to take that idea and come up, and the terminology is called Easter egg. It's basically something that's bonus. Unfortunately, Easter eggs are sometimes a little harder to find, or sometimes you find it by accident, like, oh, I didn't know it did this.
Yeah.
So Marco wanted to come up with a concept, Easter egg, but he made it easy to find. Now, you won't see it in this book, but what you will see it on the USB. Let me change the camera angle here. I don't know if you can see it on the screen there. And when you load it, can you load it? Press the load button, Marco?
USB load.
I don't know if you can see it there from that angle, but you might be able to. If you go down one to 250, right on the screen, it's hard to see it from that angle, but
Easter egg.
It says Easter egg, and when you touch it, it loads in an additional 10 setups of different reinvented styles.
Right. And it tells you when you hit number 4, the first one says Latin organ, then White Christmas swing, then Hey Jude piano, Fly Moon piano, Panther swing, Sad Movie orchestra, Bossa piano, Jingle rock piano. So if I were to put the Panther swing and then just play the Pink Panther, here we go. White Moon piano. So here's White Christmas Swing. Lastly, Robert, I'll do Jingle Rock Piano. Here we go. They're really I got
awesome.
so good at reinventing them. That's why I got the idea when I called you back after the week and I said, I need to make some more. And they're good. They're really good.
Now, I just took a picture of the screen here. That's what it looks like when you load it.
There you go.
It says Easter egg, Latin organ, minor white C swing, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not in the book because we already did our seventh version. We already done it. And then he says, well, I still got to add it onto this, onto the supernatural. And anyway, so let me switch camera here.
Robert won't tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. He may scream at me later, but I'm going to give you a little something. Oh, no.
I'll get it out of the way now.
So we rolled this in Arizona for 2 days. And then I got in an airplane and I went down to Florida and we did a music camp for 2 days. And in those 2 days, we sold $250,000 in transformation software. And Robert was like, I can't believe this. And I'm telling you, man, this is groundbreaking. There's nothing has ever been done to take an existing product to make it to what I was able to do. And I did it with you in mind, and you need to believe me when I tell you that. Every time I'm working on something, I envision, I see you doing it. And that's my reward for me in heaven when I finally leave this planet, is that I'm always thinking of things to keep the hobby alive for all of you and keep the hobby sounding the best that we could get while we're here without you having to do all that work. You just push it, play the song, and enjoy it. And I'm telling you, we've done so well with it. I'm so proud of what we've done. And I told Robert this, as we make improvements, we can tell the customers down the road, if we make a little change or something, we might be able to include you in that aspect of things. So, but right now it's perfect. There's enough things here to keep you busy for many years to come. And remember, all the registrations I build for every song, every preset uses all my new software in it. So, and it'll tell you on the right, if you hit number 4, it'll tell you exactly what I'm using. So, sorry, Robert.
No, it's okay. And so the Supernatural, as you saw earlier, this is the flyer that was our promotional flyer. It basically explains, now again, all of these flyers and these books were done pre-Easter egg, so there's really an Easter egg that's added to this at an extra value. What we're doing right now is you want to get with your staff members and ask them about the special pricing that we have on this. The beauty of the Supernatural, there's a couple of great things about it. First of all, it's all done via the USB. So everything remains on the USB, and you don't have to worry about losing anything that's into the instrument. It's sold as a separate item. But the package we have, the Supernatural Voice Transformation, consists of 2 items, as you see there. All the supernatural categories, plus the music styles reinvented, plus the Easter egg. And right now, as an introductory to the world, we're doing a very special introductory price that I would encourage you to get with all of your staff members. Last but not least, and before I bring Marco, I'm going to have Marco play just a finale song to close off the show. But we are going to incorporate, I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 class fun shop format, just with some general instruction. The use of the Supernatural on the USB is easy, but we want to show you ways of how you can use it in other aspects. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we are planning having a 1 or 2 class session, maybe a 3 if necessary, on the use of the Supernatural. So right now, if you, I would encourage you, if it is, the question I had a private message that asked for what models. So in the flyer there, you'll see that it says that, get it a little closer, for your Lowrey Marquis, Grand Marquis, and Aria, those style of instruments, the EX, the Supernatural categories will work on all 3 of those models. The Reinvented styles all will work on the Grand Marquis and Aria, and there are a few that are exclusive to the Grand Marquis and Aria platform models. Okay, so if you're wondering how to get that. If you don't have an EX model, we would encourage you to get with your staff members. We do have a Marquis and Grand Marquis available for purchase at one in Arizona and one in Florida, actually, as of yesterday. Okay, so get with your PAs. If you're not sure who your PA is, you could very easily just send me an email if you like, or if you don't want to email, my emails are roman@flexromusic.com, or you could call me 520-906-5971, and then I'll make sure to get a staff member in touch with you on the pricing of this package. We'll have Marco close off with one final number, and let's see, I'm going to switch to the top keyboard. Which camera would you like? This one? round of applause. Marco Mendez, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marco. And by the way, for those of you who have already purchased it, there was an update that Marco finished last week, and the stores have a way to get that. So make sure to get with your staff members at your stores if you have not already done so. So thank you so much, Marco. Thank you all for attending today. We hope you enjoyed this new supernatural virtual experience. And get with your PAs. If you have a marquee, grand marquee, or RA, definitely get with your PAs. I think you're going to be very, very pleased to see and hear what the offer is, okay? Thank you so much, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Hey, Marco,
Yeah,
are you playing at home?
I am.
Are you in your closet?
I am in the closet. See?
Wonderful.
It's the closet. Oh my God, I came out of the closet. No, never mind. Anyway, thank you guys. Make sure you give a call. Everybody that has them already has been telling me that they're in love. They're in seventh heaven. So thanks again for attending today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure to be here. Bye.